Good day, everyone, and welcome to the fifth topic for our subject UCSP. This time around, we will be talking about the human biocultural and social evolution. So, for this lesson, here are our learning objectives. Towards the end, you are expected to first trace the biological and cultural evolution of early to modern humans. And second, you will also be expected to explore the significance of human material remains and artifactual evidence in interpreting cultural and social, including the political and economic processes. All right, without any further ado, let us proceed with the first topic for this lesson, which will be about the human biocultural evolution. So as you can see from the picture, in this topic, we will be talking about the evolution of man from becoming primates into the modern humans that we are right now. But before we talk about what um, the human biological evolution happened or how it happened, let us first define evolution. Now, simply, evolution is defined as a natural process of biological changes occurring in a population across successive generations. So, technically, when we say evolution, we have to emphasize the words natural process. So what does it mean? It means to say that evolution is naturally occurring. Um, there is nothing that any species did in order for evolution to occur because it naturally happens. At the same time, evolution takes a lot of time since it occurs across successive generation, meaning to say it does not happen over time, it does not happen over a span of weeks or days. Sometimes it would take hundreds or even thousands and maybe even millions of years for an evolution to occur. Now, the question is, why do we have to evolve? No, why do a lot of species undergo evolution? What is the main reason for such? Okay, very good. No, we have to evolve, or different species have to evolve simply because we have to adapt to the changing environment that we are living in right now. And without evolution, of course, maybe a certain species would be wiped out or become extinct if they do not adjust to the environment that they are living in. All right. Now, what you see on the screen are the first humans, or not necessarily the first humans, or the first man-like primates, which we call the hominids. The hominids are not yet humans, but they are considered to be the early ancestors of humans simply because they already have features which are very similar to those of the human species. So we have two kinds of hominids. We have the Ramapithecus and the Australopithecus. Now, what is that certain um, human feature or human capability that the hominids have that made them um, to be considered as man-like primates? Of course, no. So the hominids, similar to the human species, can now walk or stand using their 2 feet. So first, let us take a look here with the Ramapithecus. Here, can you see Ammonia Ramapithecus? No? How will you describe the Ramapithecus, the way he stands? Is it very similar to the modern humans? No, no. So, somehow crouched pa siya, more siya gasit on the air, and his arms are longer than those of the modern humans. We also have here the Australopithecus. So, as you can see, compared to the Ramapithecus, ang kaning Australopithecus kay um, straight na iyang paglakaw. However, the main difference between the Australopithecus and the modern humans is their jaw. So kung inyo ang makita, ang ilang diri, jaw dapit, kay protruding or mas dako siya compared to the modern humans. Of course, we also have here Lucy. Now, Lucy is an important um, finding no in the archaeological world because Lucy was one of the earliest Australopithecus fossil bones which were found in the eastern banks of Africa. So again, we started the trace of the human biological evolutions with the hominids, also known as the man-like primates. All right. After them, we have the first true humans no kani sila this time mga tao na ni sila. We start off with the Homo habilis, also known as the handyman. So dali ra kay timan ano kay basta Homo habilis handyman. Now, why were the Homo habilis called the handyman? First, because they were the first humans to use stone tools as weapon and protection for their enemies. So, ang kaning Homo habilis, they already used stone tools as weapons maybe if they want to hunt. No, example, nakaunahuna ba sila nga sinugbang elephant sila for dinner, they would use stones as their weapons or maybe for hunting or maybe if they want to protect themselves. As you can see, si Homo habilis diri no gadala-dala siya og bato. Now, you have to remember that although the Homo habilis already used stone tools, they did not refine it. Meaning to say, kung unsay porma sa bato pagpunit nila, mao na ang ilahang gamiton nga weapon. So, say for example, nakapatay na silag elephant no niya, ilahaman tong sugbaon. So, of course, they have to cut it off kay haron dali siya nga maluto. So, instead of making a knife out of a stone, which is the most sensical or sensible choice to do for the Homo habilis, what they would do is they would only find knives or stones nga hait nga pwede nila magamit nga knife. So again, ang Homo habilis, although they already use stone tools, they were not making their own tools. Ha, kung unsa ra ilang nakita sa ilang environment, maura gid na ang ilahang gamiton. Second one is again the Homo habilis were the first to be recognized as the first true humans and are believed to have lived about 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago. We also have second one is the Homo erectus. Dali ra pud kay timan-an kay the Homo erectus are called as the upright man, meaning to say ang timan-an ra gyud ninyo kay basta ga erect gabarog. Therefore, Homo erectus is the upright man. So ang kaning mga Homo erectus class kay mga ancestors ni sila ni Dora ngano man they were laagan no, so they were the first man-like creature that lived about 500,000 years ago. So from Africa, which is the cradle of civilization, they have moved outwards to Asia, Africa, as well as Europe. And the Homo erectus were called the upright man because the way they stood or the way they stand up and the way that they walk were very similar to the modern humans. At the same time, the Homo erectus had the same brain, almost similar brain with those of the modern human. Now, as you can see, class, kung ganina si Homo habilis ang iyang gigunitan kay bato. This time, ni Homo erectus ang iyang gigamitan, of course, may gamit gihapon siya og stone tools. No? Narigapon sila stone tools for hunting. However, this time around, instead of just picking up those stones for them to use as their weapon, ang gihimo na sa mga Homo erectus is they refined. No, they refined those stone tools. Ilan ang gipanindot, gipahait. If nasa na nakita nga hait nga bato, nga gamay, they would attach it to a wood para mahimo siya nga spare. So, okay. After the Homo erectus, we have the Homo sapiens or the thinking man. So the Homo sapiens are the direct descendant of the modern man who were believed to have lived about 250,000 years ago. So the Homo sapiens originated as the primitive man whose activities were largely dependent on hunting, fishing, and agriculture. Now, ang kaning Homo sapiens class, gitawag ni sila nga Homo sapiens dili tungod or thinking man dili tungod ha kay niingon nga Homo erectus o ang Homo habilis kay mga bugo. It's just that with the Homo sapiens came a very large development no in terms of our culture. So the Homo sapiens started burying their dead, as well as they already had more intricate tools made of metals, and they already have their own religion. Okay, we also have the Neanderthals. So the Neanderthals are um, another human species, subspecies siya sa Homo sapiens no, that were found or discovered in the Neanderthal Valley near Dusseldorf, Germany in 1856. So kaning mga Neanderthals kay gapuyo sila sa cave, at the same time they rely on hunting and fishing for their food and survival. We also have the Cro-Magnons who were discovered by an French archaeologist named Louis Lartet in the Cro-Magnon cave in southern France. Now, the Cro-Magnons are very important in terms of tracing our human biological as well as biocultural evolution, no, because kani man mga Cro-Magnon mo ni sila unang mga naguna-una aning vandalism. Nga naman, they were the first to produce art in cave paintings. So, the Cro-Magnons lived in caves, and at the same time, they drew the way that they lived, the things that they saw in their environment in the caves that they lived, and uh, their paintings were very important because it goes to show that as early as the prehistory is concerned, the early humans already started to document their ways of lives. No? So, for example, what we see here on the screen is a sample of a painting that the Cro-Magnons painted in their caves before. So, kung imong makita, usually, the things that they would draw kay mga hayop, uh, they would also show people who were moving from one place to another. Okay, and finally, we have the Homo sapiens sapiens. So kita na no. So the Homo sapiens sapiens are is the definition of the modern human sapiens. So they were said to have been distinguished about 160,000 years ago, and kung ang mga Homo erectus kay they only traveled by land to Africa, Asia, and Europe, this time around, kaning Homo sapiens sapiens, they also populated other areas of the world such as North America, South America, and Australia. So they already crossed large bodies of water to populate other areas of the world. Okay, now let us move to the four biological capacity of human to develop culture. Now, among the animals in the animal kingdom, it is only humans who have developed culture. Now, ano kaha nga mga tao raman ang nakadevelop of culture? Unsa day biologically naa nato that made us capable of developing culture? No? So there are four biological capacities. The first one is our thinking capacity. Now, if we would look at starting with the hominids until the Homo sapiens sapiens and compare the size of their skull, the size of their ulo, we would see that um, throughout time, nagkadako ang ulo sa mga human species. So, gikan ni Homo habilis ang to ni Homo sapiens sapiens, ang pinakadakong size sa ulo is the Homo sapiens sapiens. That is because with the growth of our skull comes the growth of our brains. Now, where do we use our brains, the eye? For the early humans, our brains were used to understand or interpret the things that our five senses sees in his or her environment. So, ang brains for the early humans were used to understand the way that we talk, the way that what we touch, what we felt, what we see, what we smelled, and maybe some things that we have tasted. Now, over time, this complex brain, this large brain that we have, no, instead of just only using it to um, interpret the things that we have sensed. No, we have also used it for survival skills in order for these early humans to adapt to their environment. And of course, since kanang mas maayo naman, mas complex na atong brain, mas dako na, mas bright na ang mga modern humans, of course, we have outlived our less adaptive biological relatives. And over time, these survival skills that we have turned out to be the culture nga atuan nang gi-practice today. The second capacity of man is our gripping capacity. Now, I want you to look at your hands and based on the pictures that you can see on the screen, I want you to decide kung asa gyud mo, no? Asa ang gid sa inyong kamot? Ari ba mo sa baboon, sa orangutan, sa chimpanzee, or sa man? Okay? Now, if naglibog pa mo, asa na bilong, naglibog mo, baboon ba mo, or man, let us move to the second confirmatory test kung tao ba yun mo, no? What I want you to do is to have your hands form a fist, no? Pangumo mo. Mag-abot ba ang inyong thumb sa other fingers? Mataguan ba sa other fingers ang inyong thumb? If you can do that, congrats, no? Confirm, tawag ka. Now, the capacity to directly oppose your thumb with your other fingers is an exclusive trait of humans. So, kani kuno capacity na to nga mangumo, kita rin makahimo ani ha. Kung dili ka kahimo ani, maybe orangutan ka, chimpanzee ka, or baboon. Now, this capacity allowed us to have a finger grip, no? Kanang kamao na kuno tamang gunit. Now, why is this necessary? Our finger grips have two kinds. Okay, first is ang power grip. Ang power grip class, ato siyang magamit kung manggunit ta using our fingers and our thumbs. See, for example, kung naggunit ka og silhig, of course, ang imong gamiton ng tanan yun na nimo nga mga tudlo. Ang tawagan na is the power grip. Now, for the early humans, the power grip became a cornerstone in holding firmly our tools for hunting as well as other activities. Now, the second kind of grip is the precision grip. Ganina, kang power grip, ang imong gigamit ang tanan nimo nga tudlo. Now, for precision grip, I want you to hold your pencil or ball pen. No? If you have some ball pens there, kindly hold it. Now, giunsa man na ninyo pag-hold ang inyuhang ball pen? Of course, no, more likely, nga ninyo na ninyo pag-gunit. So, how many fingers are involved in holding your ball pen primarily? Of course, no, tulura. Ang uban kay upat. Kung lima ka, basin dili ka tao, no? Or basin pud ka ha, og dili ka senior high, basin ibalik na lang ka namo sa kinder. So usually, if we are holding our ball pen, or maybe pencil pen, we only use 3 or maybe 4 fingers, not necessarily nga involve ang tanan. Now again, that grip is what you call the precision grip. Now, why is the precision grip important? Simply because the precision grip enabled humans to hold and pick objects steadily using fingers. This capacity was crucial for tool-making activities. Therefore, kaniday kuno atong gripping capacity, we use it to hold small objects, no? Kung ganina si power grip ato siyang gigamit to hold the tools, si precision grip ato siyang gigamit para makahimo ta og mga tools. Okay? The third capacity is our speaking capacity. Of course, the speaking capacity enabled us to transfer the knowledge, the skills, as well as the culture that we have. Now, what are these biological aspects nga nakatabang nato para kita makaistorya ta compared to our primate cousins? No? So, not daw tay duha ka organs. First, we have our vocal tracts. No, kung wala mo nakahibaw og asa ang atong vocal tracts, pangitaan na ang parte sa imuhang lawas nga mukurog kung mustorya ka. Okay, so na diri no kaning naa sa ato ang liog. Now, our vocal tracts kuno compared to the chimpanzees are a lot longer. No, mas taas ang atong vocal tracts. And since we have longer vocal tracts, meaning to say, mas taas-taas ta og vibration surface, no, mas taas ang ka-vibratan sa sounds nga atong gi-create. Therefore, since mas taas siya ka-vibratan, we can produce a wider array of sounds compared to that of the chimpanzees. Now, dili ra enough class nga taas ta og vocal tract. At the same time, the second organ or body part that we have no that enabled us to speak is our tongue or ang atuang dila. Now, ang atua ko ng dila, more flexible siya compared to that of the um compared to that of the chimpanzee. Therefore, aside sa taas tag vocal tracts, mas daghan tag ma-produce nga sound, ang atong tongue is mas flexible man siya, mas dali nato nga makontrol ang sound nga ato ang gimik. No, therefore, enabling us to speak or create more sounds compared to our primate cousins, right? And finally, the last capacity is our walking or standing capacity. Now, kita primates, kita apil ta sa primates. We have two forms of locomotion. First, we have the bipedal, bipedalism, and quadrupedalism. Na kung mo na tag bipedalism, ang imong gigamit ana nga tiil or limbs to walk is only two. While kung quadrupedalism or quadrupedal, ang imong gigamit ana kay upat ka buok. No? Kanang example ana is ang pagkamang nato. Now, why is it relevant? Simply because when humans started walking using their 2 feet, we become bipedal, no? And since duha naman lang ka tiil or kalimbs ang ato ang gigamit to walk, of course, our hands became free to carry different objects. Therefore, it gave humans more capacity or productivity with their hands like hunting and foraging. Kay since dili naman nato kailangan ang atong kamot to walk, so, pwede na nato nagamit siya, pwede na makamultitask ang tao no, like naglakaw ba siya at the same time kay kanang nakapanguha siya og mga fruits and vegetables or kanang nakahunting ba siya while gadagan. All right? Now let us move to the third topic. We're already at the third and we have 4 topics for this lesson. Next is the cultural and social political development. First, we talk about the Paleolithic period, which existed around 3 million years ago to 8,000 BC. So as you can see on the picture class, how will you describe the lives that the people who existed in the Paleolithic period would have lived? Unsa kay ilang way of life? Asa maka sila nagpuyo? Okay, no? So sa mga caves sila gapuyo. How will you describe their tools kaha? What are the tools that they have used kaha during this period? Okay, very good no. So ang ilang gigamit diri kay stone tools pen. How about their way of living? Asa ka sila manguhag pagkaon? Okay, no? So maybe they would be hunting or gathering or fishing, no, among their place. So that's right, no? So here is how we would describe the Paleolithic period. First, the people in the Paleolithic period used simple pebble tools or stone tools. At the same time, sakto inyong giingon no, gapuyo sila sa mga caves. And kamao na pud sila mogamit og kayo. So, as early as the Paleolithic period, people had already started using fires. And they also already had culture, no, since they already developed small sculptures as well as monumental painting, incised designs, and reliefs on the walls of caves. So technically, ang Paleolithic period, kay they are described as the food collecting culture. Second one, after the Paleolithic or the Old Stone, no? So, ang Paleolithic day kay Old Stone period siya. We also have the Neolithic or the New Stone Age, which emerged sometime around 10,000 BCE. Now, if we would compare the kanang way of living among the Paleolithic and the Neolithic period, unsa kahay kalahian? Kay asa na ka sila nagpuyo? Okay, so kung sa ganina, sa Paleolithic period, gapuyo sila sa mga cave. This time around, kina na sila yung mga balay. What else? Okay, no? So, nananom na pud sila. Nanapod sila yung mga hayop. So, now, let us describe the Paleolithic way of living. No? So, first, this time, the stone tools were shaped by polishing or grinding. So, dili na lang simple nga stone tools ang ilang gigamit. At the same time, there is a Neolithic period. Ang mga tao natuto nang magstay. No? Hindi man sila natuto magstay sa tamang tao or sa isang tao, at least natuto silang magstay sa isang lugar. Char. No? So, they already settled in permanent villages. At the same time, since kamao naman sila mananom ug magbuhi og ayop, they were already dependent on it, no? So dili na sila maghunting and gathering, and the appearance of more intricate crafts like pottery and weaving started to emerge. And technically, this time, since kamo naman sila mubuhat og ilang pagkaon, so they were already called the food-producing culture. And finally, the third one is the Age of Metals, which existed around 4000 BC until 1500 BC. Now, from the word itself, Age of Metals, during a time, we already saw the use of metals like bronze, copper, and iron to produce different tools. At the same time, it was during this time that the different civilizations of the world existed or came to life, such as those of Egypt, Mesopotamia, Persia, as well as India and China in Asia. Also, since na may mga kaya di ba ganina sa Neolithic period no, nakato naman to sila stay now, kanana na sila permanent villages. These villages, over time, ni dako nga, nahimo siyang kingdom, nahimo siyang empire, no, and therefore, the birth of the different civilizations. Since there were already kanang larger groups of people, the civilization, which defined, became, or gave life to a more developed social, cultural, political, as well as economic system. And of course, since dako naman ang kingdoms, ang empires, so naana siya kanang trading, wars, as well as conquest. And finally, this is the last topic, no? So if you've already watched lesson 3, so the early types of societies for lesson 5 is just somehow a short recap, no, of what we have discussed for lesson 3. First, we begin with the hunting and gathering society. So their technology is described as very simple since they only use fire, arrow, and baskets. At the same time, their economy is described as bare necessities since they have no surplus. Ang pasabot ani is that ang ilahasang mga resources or mga pagkaon nga naa sa ilaha since gahunt ra man sila gagather walay sobra, meaning to say igo-igo ra kung unsa ilang kwaon karon kay enough ra na for today, tomorrow is another day to hunt na pud, no? Their settlement is nomadic, meaning to say they have no permanent address and is only composed of at least 25 to 40 people. Nga naman, because their social organization here is within the family ra. So meaning to say kaning 25 to 40 people nga gakuyugay sa usa ka hunting and gathering society kay they are um in one family ra, no? So they belong to one family only. Next is the horticultural and pastoral society. So this time, their technology already included digging sticks as well as occasionally blade tools. Since there is a horticultural and pastoral society, no, kay nagsugod naman og pamuhi og mga hayop as well as mananom ang mga tao. So their economy this time is since kamo naman sila mananom og magbuhig hayop, they rely on it, no, simple crop cultivation. At the same time, na naman siya sobra, no, so kanang kung makapananom ka kay dili mo kakaingon nga mahurot nimo tanan nimong ani or kung nakay hayop no di mo kakaingon nga kung ihawon nimo tanan nimo siyang mahurot og kaon. So therefore, with this kanang surplus or this gamay nga sobra, nagsugod ang practice of exchange. For example, ikaw kay naa kay daghang apple no, nakay punuan sa apple nya ganahan ka magmango float. Syempre dili man nimo magamit ang apple para makamango float ka. So you would exchange some of your apples for some of the mangoes that these people would be willing to exchange. Their settlement this time is semi-permanent na since na naman sila yung mga tanong nga angay atimanon as well as mga hayop. At the same time, some cities, occasionally kingdoms, started to emerge. There is a horticultural and pastoral society class kay family-centered gihapon, no? The families still hold great influence within the society. However, this time, nagsugod nag-develop ang mga religious system. So, the family started to destabilize, no? So, nawala na kay siya authority. At the same time, since na naman siya sobra, of course, na may presence sa social inequality. So, diri pa lang sa horticultural and pastoral society, nagsugod nag-exist ang concept sa dato ug sa pobre. Next, we have the agrarian society. So, ang agrarian society kay mas gipalapad lang nini or mas gipadako ang range sa ilahang agricultural practices. Okay? So, their technology now includes irrigation, fertilization, metallurgy or kanang paggamit og mga metals to create tools, and weapons, and also they have already been using animal drone plow. This time class, their economy is largely agricultural, meaning to say, mas nagsalig na ni sila sa mga pananom nila. And daghan na siya og sobra, so therefore, dili na lang siya exchange of goods or kanang barter. No, this time around, kay nagsugod nag-exist ang mga merkado. Since daghan naman ang sobra, daghan nagmaani, so dili na siya maatong exchange. So nagsugod na sila og pamaligya. Their settlement is now permanent and is characterized by urbanization, meaning to say, nagsugod na og tukod og mga syudad. No, and these urbanized cities become important empires covering continents. So ganina kung sa horticultural and pastoral society nagsugod na og ka-destabilize ang authority sa family, dili sa agrarian society gitiwasan, no? So here the family loses significance as distinctive religious, economic and political system started to emerge, and there was already an increase of the presence of social inequality. Finally, we have the industrial society, which is characterized by advanced sources of energy as well as mechanized production for their technology. So, diri sa industrial society, kay ning gamit na tagsugod og mga makina para sa pag-produce nato og mga pagkaon or services and goods. Their economy now is largely industrial. So gamay na lang sa kayo ang ga pananom, no, gamay na lang kayo ang nag-farmer because now this time kay kanang most of the people would want to work in factories, operate kanang mga machines, and the economy here is fully developed na, the market economy, since kanang mas paspas naman ang production kung sa una sa agrarian society kay everyday kay makaproduce na sila 100 ka lata sa beef loaf. This time with the use of machines sa industrial society, pwede na nga one day makaproduce og 10,000 ka lata sa beef loaf. Their settlement this time is permanent na, and there is kanang a rise in urban living, so mas daghan na ang mamuyo sa syudad. Cities now contain most of the population, and the rise of state or mga nasud. And this time around, in terms of social organization, there is already a complex set of interdependent institutions that guides the way of living of the modern human. Okay? That sums up our discussion for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending your time and for um, watching this video. If you have any questions, clarifications, or violent reactions, you may comment it down in our Google Classroom stream. You can also PM me so that it can be addressed in our next meeting or in a separate video. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!